Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Sam, and you are at the Morning Mayhem Show. You have found where you need to be this morning. I don't know. I don't know if this is where you need to be. We're going to be talking about Carmelo Anthony. Let's get another cheer for that. We are always fighting for Austin Metcalf. His name doesn't get said enough in the narrative, that's for sure. We're just going to do an update since I've covered it last on my channel. Now there's tons of updates on other channels, the quartering, YouTube streets and other places. There's been tons of updates out there that some of you might have seen. I'm basically going to cover a little bit of that. Someone just reminded me of something else that I forgot that I needed to cover, about the gag order being, about there even being a gag order and then the gag order being broken. And I was going to talk about that with this chick influencer. That's what you want to call her, this Tiffany Billions. But we're going to get into that. We're going to watch something from the quartering. Then we're going to go over to X and check that out a little bit and cover a little bit of what Sarah Fields has been posting about it. And some other things, this, that, and the other. We're going to check out a drug shipment that Trump blew up in the middle of the ocean. I mean, I hope he had it right. I mean, we can only take his word for it, right? And his general or whoever figured out what the intelligence on it. But I'm the first guy to want to blow up ships that have tons of drugs on it, as long as there's no innocent people getting killed. I mean, if one innocent person on that boat is unalived, then it's a bad deal. They just need to try to get it when it gets to its destination, or follow the shipment until it gets to our border and then bust it. Then no one should die that's innocent for drug trafficking. I mean, there's even been innocent people that have passed when I was trafficking from Mexico to LA to Denver to Montana. When I was doing my thing years ago, that got me into this whole thing. So I don't know, but lots to talk about. We're going to check in with the community first today, and then maybe we'll do a little recovery talk at the end. We'll just see how we feel. I'm a little bit tired. Hazley got up at 4:00 this morning to go to school. That was crazy. So I've been up since 4. And then she kept trying to fall back asleep, and when she does, she's super grumpy. So anyways, I didn't let her and it got her to school, but she seemed happy. She loves her new teacher. So that was exciting. I took her to Hobby Lobby to get a couple things that she needed that we had forgotten about. And everything is good. So I will be right back. I am Sam. This is the Morning Mayhem Show. Finally back off the summer hiatus. I will see you guys back in 2 and 2. I'll start to respond. So when I get texts, my own ideas, wake up, Sam, he's reborn again. One step forward from where he's been. Turn up the noise, flip the script today. Lights on, Sam, we've got dues to pay. A world on fire, but the wind still blow. This is Morning Mayhem. Welcome to the show. So Ben Baconbit says he needed to be skinnier to wear a mask of me for Halloween. Since I did the last Mayhem show, I've put on probably 35 pounds. So I'm 250 right now. Yeah, I weigh 250. Yeah, I'm 6'1", almost 6'2", but still 250 is a big belly. I didn't know what else it could be big because I'm not in the gym, so it's not muscle weight. So it's all heavy fat around my midsection. It feels heavy. Ugh. I can't get my knee up to my chest to put my socks on or my shoes on. I don't know if that's gross or not, but yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty heavy. So yeah, I'll make this entire show about Ben Bacon Bits. I'll go over bacon bit recipes and refer to Ben Bacon Bits. I might just every other sentence just say Ben Bacon Bits. It's all about Ben. Update, Ben Bacon Bits. Just put BBB all over everything. I'm just kidding, Ben. But I am so glad everyone is here this morning. Seen some new faces, some familiar faces already. So yeah, let's get to it. Good morning, Rosanna Dana. She was very first in line here this morning at 9:45. There used to be, who was it that used to be first every morning? Oh, Heather Rhodes. We used to have a viewer. She's gone over to the dark side, I'm assuming. Heather Rhodes, she was always here when Tommy was my co-host. She was always here like at 6 a.m, like just ready and raring to go. And it was always nice to say good morning to her before I started the show. But good to see Rosanna Dana is here after X Crash Override XX. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for being a part of the chat and part of the show this morning. It was nice chatting with you for a second. Good morning to, who else is in the house? Tam Louise is in the house. Good morning to you. Darcy's 3. Good morning to you. So good to see you. Who else? I know Ben Bacon Bits is here. Shell Dub. That's the big dub. West Side. Caddy Connie and Loudmouth Linda, good morning to you. Good to see you. Michael Rondo, good morning to you, sir. And who else do we have? Susie Q3, hello. How are you this morning? Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much to my moderators for moderating. And good morning to you, John Lazont. Good to see you, little hamsters. You better behave today. Uncle Johnny is busy welding. John is the hardest working man in welding. And if you guys could ever see the things he welds, and I think I have shown some pictures before, he's just not out there welding motorcycle frames or anything. He's like welding like the Canadian infrastructure. He really is. He hits it hard, man. That dude is really hardworking. And Sherry LeBron, good morning to you. I am so happy you are here as well. Rudy, I always mess this up. I'm just going to say Rudy Homestead. Rudy Homestead is here. Good morning to you, Rudy. And we're at the end. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I kind of go down it kind of quick. But yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about Carmelo today. You guys know that in the beginning of the Karmelo Anthony case, when Austin Metcalf first was unalived, I covered it a lot, especially when the race baiting started. I really had made some predictions, and those predictions have pretty much come to fruition. Like I can't think of anything that I had said back then that hasn't come to fruition, except for that it's a little less race war and a little more deception. There's a lot of fake narratives being put out by a team that has been, I think, I don't know. I want to say that Drew Anthony, Carmelo's dad, has like orchestrated this and is the mastermind and the architect of all of this of drama that's happening on TikTok and X and even YouTube. But I just don't think he has the brain capacity for that. But I'm I don't know that. I don't know the man. I don't know. I've never seen him talk except for when he, let his wife do all the talking, really, at the first press conference when we were all there live, um, waiting for, them to show some contrition, to be apologetic, to pray. They were there with the minister, so I thought there was going to be some prayer. None of that happened. They actually kicked out Jeff Metcalf, who just came to check it out. Now, did Jeff go there to pray? I would hope so. That's what he said he was there to do, was to pray for the family, and that he had already forgiven their son. But forgiveness can be taken away, and I think has have done that at this point, at least regarding the supporters of that side, and and of everyone that's kind of jumped on that bandwagon, either to get clicks and views, to say salacious stuff, things that aren't true, not just reporting on the facts, and I don't know. But now, lo and behold, Charleston White, who's, I'm a huge fan of, not, he's out there. He hired Drew because I do believe a lot of people probably have been calling Drew Anthony's employer making death threats, saying racial things. And that's no bueno. That's not cool at all. We don't support that here at After the Bars, and this community would never support anything like that. I know that for a fact. And so he was jobless, and with supposedly that new mansion they bought, which I don't think is true either. But whatever they're doing, renting, buying, I know he still has to put a roof over the heads of his other kids, and so he needed a job. Well, lo and behold, Charleston White hired him. I mean, why not? Drew Anthony hired Charleston White, right? With that Give Send Go money, all those thousands of dollars they got from Give Send Go that they supposedly haven't gotten yet. But I don't know if how that can be proved, that they haven't. It doesn't. I know when I did my GoFundMe, it doesn't let the world know when I make withdrawals and when I left money in there for a rainy day or for whatever. It doesn't. It just doesn't tell you that. I don't think, unless I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Someone, if I'm wrong, please, someone let me know. But anyways, I do believe Drew recruited Dr. Umar and Charleston White. With Dr. Umar, has his own issues with his begging, and so I haven't really heard him say too much about the Carmelo Anthony case in a while. But Charleston was definitely hired, and so now he has hired Drew Anthony to be his publicist, of all things. Who's he has no history of doing anything like that. And Charleston White, for all intents and purposes, is a celebrity. He's been around for a while. Like, I had never heard of him until all this happened. But he is a celebrity. And, who probably had a real publicist, on and off here and there when, as his fame, moves forward and wanes and grows and does all the things that it does, being a shock comedian, a shock jock, if you will, whatever it is, that whatever you want to call him. I think his celebrity ebbs and flows, right? Drew Anthony doesn't know shit about that. He's never done anything like that. So we'll get into that a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about that. I will be taking questions and things at the end of the show. If you want to get a question or comment out like in the middle of the show, you can do that with a super chat, and then I will stop what I'm saying and read your question or comment. That's not to make people, I'll for sure read everything at the end of the show. So you don't have to do a super chat to get something read or something out into the conversation. We will have a totally free of charge conversation at the end. So you don't have to do that. But if you want to interject during the conversation, or if you see me go on a rant and you want to like check my rant, you have something important to say that maybe I'm giving out some misinformation and you really just need it to be said, you can do that with the 50-cent super chat, whatever the super chats are. So anyways, that's the rules. That's how it's going to go. And you guys know the chat rules. I'm just going to go over them really quick because they're super easy. No homophobia and no racism, and be respectful to each other. But you guys can have your own conversations. You can have heated conversations. You can have loving conversations, which is what I would prefer. But we don't have to all think the same here. We don't all have to have the same ideology to participate in the conversation. Yeah, so that's that. All right, let's get to the first thing. Is there anything? I'm just going to read the chat real quick. 1:13 a.m. Central, just to see if. Okay, yeah, you guys are doing good. The acuity of the chat is nice and low. When I say acuity, I mean like the aggro level of the conversation seems nice and pleasant and low. So I don't know. Anyways, so let's watch the quartering first. So most of you guys know who the quartering is. His name's Jeremy, I think. He put out a video a while ago. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done any catching up on the topic. He put out a video a while ago called Karmelo Anthony Corruption Revealed. This is going to look very bad at trial. They broke the gag order. So there was a gag order. Finally, the judge put a gag order on everybody. And they were breaking it from the very first moment. And there's this weird character out there. I haven't put my finger on it. He's a friend of the Anthony family. He's a white guy. I think he used to work with Drew. And he's always like pretending to be people he's not, and does like I don't know. I can't speak on it because I for sure 100. So I don't know what made me just think of that. I think because I just seen something on X this morning about it. But let's take a listen to.
Just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Some dark turns and a new report of some deep corruption going on in the Carmelo Anthony case. My name is Jeremy. This is the quartering. Let's get into the story. I hope you guys are enjoying, by the way. Today we had Sam Tripoli on live. Tomorrow we have Count Dankula on this week. We have Andrew Wilson, and we've just got a bunch of great guests this week. So I hope you'll tune into the live show at 2 Eastern. I'm going to be live streaming it on my main channel too, so that everyone can get a taste, at least this week. If they like it, then you can follow on the live channels. But let's get into this huge update that we got. This is from Sarah Fields. Update on the Carmelo Anthony case. Deep corruption involving backdoor manipulation. A false defense case formed with plans to target the jury. Criminals being used to target innocent defenders of Austin Metcalf. And already a violation of the gag order. Now, there was a gag order from the judge that was issued late in July, I think July 28th or 29th, basically because, hey, the case is, getting a lot of publicity, they say, and, we want to make sure that we can get a clean jury pool, this, that, and the other thing, which I do understand. But ultimately, you have to follow the gag order.
And that's not going to happen. I mean, well, no, it will happen. They will find people that haven't heard of this case. They absolutely will. If you would have asked me that, let's just say a year ago, I would have said, no way. But they did with the Karen Reed trial, supposedly. And they definitely did with the Diddy trial. I mean, I have friends that I hang out with all the time, and they're not on YouTube, and they barely knew Diddy was in jail. So, we're all invested in these things, with our time at least. I don't know about emotionally, but we're invested in these things. And so we like can't believe that no one knows about this, because in our world, everybody knows about all these different stories that we watch and cover and see and you know, comment about. So it's bizarre for us to think that there's people out there that wouldn't know that there's potential jurors that would be unaffected by all the back and forth that goes on between sides, for and opposing. So it's blows me away sometimes.
On April 2nd, we all remember what happened. What would happen next, no one could have seen coming. It would ignite a firestorm. As the Anthony family's advocates, first, Dominique Alexander, a convicted felon tied to an aggressive riot back in 2016, and now Tiffany Billions, a self-proclaimed law student linked to a militant group, push narratives of self-defense with no public evidence to back it. They've unleashed a campaign of lies, doxing, and horrific threats, including targeting families of deceased children, from possible gag order violations to a, quote, disruptor enforcer with a rap sheet. This case reveals a disturbing underbelly of manipulation and intimidation that demands your attention. Definitely, Sarah is censored. Sarah Fields has been doing incredible reporting on this case. Make sure you follow her on X. And if you haven't yet, make sure you follow my channel wherever you're watching this. I'll be on this now. I'm sure news will get kind of sparse in the next.
And you guys know I've talked about Sarah Fields in the past. All good. I've used her information to report on this case a bunch of times. So this is the same Sarah Fields, obviously. Yeah.
Next couple of months, we're not going to get much until June, but who knows? Okay. Now, disclaimer: part 6 of the story is highly disturbing. Please be advised. So we have this video here with people talking about it.
Disputing what you were saying. She was saying, no, he can't be online, because she's never been in the Zoom calls. Now, the people that were in the Zoom calls, and I hate to have this conversation publicly.
Oh, okay.
But the people that were in the Zoom calls were privy to the fact that he could be online. Because
Miss Tiff,
yes.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to interrupt you, but we haven't been in the Zoom call. That's something you said to us on one of our panels. You said that on one of our panels.
Okay.
So that's something that you said outside of the Zoom.
Okay, if you'll just allow me to finish.
This is this Tiffany Billions person talking, just to get an idea. Part 1, background and catching up on the case. If you have followed my reporting, feel free on part 2. We already know what happened. The Karmelo Anthony family, some suspicious stuff about money, some suspicious stuff about fleeing the state, all sorts of shenanigans like that. But if you're watching my video, I assume you've also been up to date. Now, part 2, enter Tiffany Billions, aka Tiffany McAdoo. The advocacy she is providing for the Anthony family is much more secretive and organized behind the scenes, with an overall campaign to spread lies about the case, confuse the public about what evidence they have and what they don't have, and to sway and attempt to convince a large base that somehow Carmelo has a strong defense, when in reality there's absolutely no evidence available to the public that would convince anyone of a strong defense in this case. Tiffany's manipulation of the events has occurred on April 2nd. Are mostly targeted at easily swayed individuals, while she uses a team she calls her, quote, disruptors, to dox, threaten, and intimidate anyone who has defended Austin Metcalf in any way. She has told blatant lies that are easily disproven, and many have fallen for the lies. It follows her in a quest to not only gather support for the Anthony family, but to sway public opinion with false and information and to attempt to taint the jury pool. Tiffany has told individuals that she's a first-year law student. Then in another live recording, she told everyone that she was a second-year law student. Tiffany also told individuals that she watched the Frisco ISD available footage of the incident via an open records request, and stated that the security footage she watched was from a viewpoint that did not even allow her to see the altercation. But then, of course, much later stated the narrative that Carmelo was attacked by 4 people, obviously a blatant lie. She has aggressively attacked and lied about anyone who challenges her, including me. According to Tiffany, I am a meth head, lost my children. I'm a convicted felon. I was a prostitute, and I'm my fourth baby daddy. I live in a shack. I'm using Give, Send, Go money for myself instead of illegal fees to sue her. That I'm using the money to pay for my delivery. I'm covered by VA insurance because I'm a veteran. And that I'm guilty of witness tampering because I was directly involved in getting a prosecution order put into place. A protection order, sorry. That I received private documents from a, quote, insider at Collin County Courthouse. And that the most recent one is that because my lips were chapped in a former video, that I'm either being hit by my husband or that I have the herp. All are lies, of course. All are made up by Tiffany and are being spread online by her group of so-called disruptors. She has also raged online, showing anger from being outed, threatened by children, and stated things like, keep on, your kids are going to pay if you keep playing with me. It's funny that this like playing with me thing. There was this Rajah Jackson guy, you know, and he said people keep playing with me, you know, and what he did yesterday to a veteran was attempt to take his life. So I don't really know.
That's another big story we haven't covered.
This like, you know, I'm going to do whatever I want because I feel disrespected. It seems like a culture thing. But of course, you see many of her posts calling people maggots. We all know these young inbred hillbillies were armed and taunting Anthony because that's what the. So
we don't have to listen to all these details of all this. I've talked about all this in previous videos. You guys can go back if you haven't seen them, go back and check them all out. They're pretty much the thumbnails are all pretty much Carmelo Anthony. And I just don't feel like listening to most of that, like all the minutia of the details. There's facts that I want to talk about that I know that are new, and most of that is that I never got a chance to cover that. There was a lot of threats made to Sarah Fields, either love her or hate her. You know, she doesn't deserve to be threatened. They were threatening her baby. There was her newborn baby before the baby was even born. They were actually waiting for the due date to go harm her and the child. I mean, they were huge threats. They've swatted her. They've sent the SWAT team to her house. They've sent CPS to her house. And they've also done that to Jeff Metcalf's house. Now, supposedly it's been done in kind to them, which isn't so kind. And it just doesn't need to happen. None of this needs to happen. You know, Sarah is doing reporting, which she's allowed to do. It hasn't been racial. The only thing that's been racial about it is that they're just, you know, the Anthonys are African-American and she's white. I mean, but there's no racist component to it at all until Tiffany enters the scene and Charleston White has entered the scene. And I talked about all of that when Charleston White called her KKK racial meth whore and, you know, doing all those all the slurs, and now he's being sued for it. And so is Tiffany. She's got a lawyer. I'm not a fan of her lawyer. He's like this lawyer. He's got like this Texas swag, you know, wears the big funky glasses. I guess he's been on probation. I know lots of lawyers that have been on probation. They usually get put on probation when they go that extra mile to fight for their clients. Not always, but you know, most of the time that's the reason why they kind of skate that line of being ethical. And I don't support that either. I think you should, you know, it's our system. You follow the rules. Just like, you know, when I was fighting my cases, I had to follow the rules and I lost, you know, but I was guilty for most of those things. I was just fighting for the stuff that wasn't legal in my case, like ghost dope and the things that have been settled in the Supreme Court. So we are allowed to fight, our cases, even if we're guilty, because a lot of times they put more on the case than what you're guilty of. So you get to fight that, and God bless America for real. So I'm just gonna go over to X, and when was this? This was on August 30th, so just a few days ago. Sarah Fields, right? Let me just hide this comment real quick. Sarah Fields reports 2 witnesses whose names were protected. These are witnesses of the day of the incident that at Frisco High, or whatever that high school was named, Frisco High, I believe. And they're underage witnesses. I think they're of age now, but at the time they were underage. So their identities do get to be kept secret. And I guess they were doxxed on one of Tiffany Billings's, Zoom calls or whatever she does, and she puts out on TikTok or wherever she does it. But anyways, the report says 2 witnesses whose names were protected and redacted in the Austin Metcalf unalive police report have just been doxxed by Tiffany Billions Associates. One individual, Love Block, who is friends with Tiffany Billions, can be heard celebrating in a live stream saying, "Oh yeah, we got your witnesses." The individual who provided the info and photos was known as Big Tiff. I warned everyone that this would happen. If Tiffany Billions and her disruptors were allowed to continue with their plans without accountability, I previously stated that coaches and former Frisco ISD school employees were going to be doxxed. We're being doxxed. Now it's the witnesses. Their goal is to tamper with the witnesses, influence the jury, and have the venue moved. The mind games at the end of this video are astounding. Tiffany does not seem angry the witnesses were doxxed. She's irritated that it was done outside of her Zoom meetings and in public. We have blurred the images of the students and their names were redacted. Let's watch this.
There we go. All right, guys, you got your screenshots ready? Let's do it. Tiff got this up. How do I screenshot here?
Now, so give me a second and I'll put the other screenshot up.
Okay. All right, guys. I hope you do got your screenshot. This is the young man that's been identified. I don't know how. So these are the young men.
Why would they do that?
approached Carmelo, the other 2 guys that were a part of the situation.
They're trying to say that these 2 guys were with the Metcalf brothers and that they were all like coming, I think that's what they're trying to say. Because they were witnesses doesn't mean they were a part of the incident, that they were intimidating Carmelo because of his junk, of what Charleston White calls his print. And that Carmelo was embarrassed by it. I mean, that's all bullshit anyway. So,
and oh yeah, we got your ass, witness. We got your ass, chocolate.
What does that even mean? We got your ass
on this information. This is beautiful.
The witnesses. Excuse me. What I want to say about the witnesses. So we need to leave that alone. We really need to leave that alone. They're going to say what they're going to say.
Right.
At the time, they were minors. They may not be minors now. But what good does it do the movement for Carmelo to expose who the witnesses are?
Nothing. And I don't think that was the intent. It was just like, hey, these are the guys, because there's oftentimes of racial matters.
Hear how she changed her tune? Now it's like, oh, that wasn't the intent. No, you were just saying we got your ass. And then Tiffany kind of put her in check. So I got to give Tiffany credit where credit's due. At least she kind of like, whoa, you're not doing this any justice. And she wasn't.
being brought up in the discussion, and it kind of validated that it's not really race bait in the sense that the ops were saying.
Okay, but here's my
I
thing.
don't think that was
Here's my
the
thing.
issue. Tiffany, I think the issue was more so. I think the issue was more so trying to determine if those people who made that report were actually friends of the Metcalfs,
Right.
and that would show a bias in their statement. Now, I can't speak for everybody who's doing it because I don't even know I don't even know what live y'all all are talking about. But I know we have been, me and a couple other people have been talking about, who these particular people were. But it was more so on my behalf to see if these people were actually, like, if you connect them as being friends to the Metcalfs as opposed to just a witness, the way that they're trying to make it seem like it is. If that makes sense. I hope it makes sense what I'm trying to say.
But
It
what-
absolutely does, and that's what we piece
but
together.
wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree that it would make sense to do that offline?
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree that if
I haven't been doing it
excuse me,
online, but I do
hold on.
agree with
Let me
you.
say
It
this.
would make
Wouldn't you
sense to
agree
do
that
it.
if there is a protective order in place
Yeah.
regarding those witnesses, and you're not sure if you can disclose their name or not, wouldn't you agree that it makes sense to take that offline, do your research, reach out to somebody in their inbox and say, hey, this is what I found?
Well, you know what? Good for her, man. Like, I wasn't even expecting to hear that because I hadn't heard this. I wanted to react to it with you guys. Like, I didn't know that. Like, and I get it. She said she was talking about it, offline and off camera, and that's good. She's like, if she's honest and she's really not trying to race bait and she's not really trying to dox people, I mean, she can do that. Like, we do it. Right. We want to know what information is on the ops and make sure everyone's being honest and truthful. So good for her for putting that other chick in check about it. For real. And I in the past, I haven't agreed with anything that Tiffany Billings is doing. So maybe she's on the right path. Like, she even just mentioned the gag order. Like, what are you guys doing? So I don't know. Good for her. Doesn't mean I'm a fan of hers. I'm just saying in this instance.
Look, they're related, right? They were at a barbecue together. They kick it over here. They were playing basketball together. Look, and then send that information down the train online so that we can send that to the
PI. Crash Override X says, and yeah, this could be true. It probably is, because I've never heard her talk with any kind of sensibility at all. So I was like, kind of like astounded. I wanted just to keep talking shit, but I was like, wait a minute, she's making sense to me right now. Crash Override XX says, I should point out that at the time, Tiffany stated that she may have noticed what appeared to be law enforcement enter their life. Yeah. That's badass. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. I totally appreciate that. So yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, because I was like, well, wait a minute, that's not what I was expecting, right? And then one other thing I want to talk about, there might be some other things that I'm missing about this update, but I kind of mentioned it earlier a little bit, but I wanted to talk about it again real quick. Sarah Fields reported just an hour ago, in an interesting turn of events, one of the individuals on the panel with Tiffany Billings was discussing the doxed witnesses was Mark Anthony, the longtime best friend of Drew Anthony. That's this guy. I don't have a pointer, so the guy down in the right-hand corner, he's been kind of nefarious through all of this. He's like a friend of their family. I thought that she had said something about Charleston White and Drew Anthony working together too. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Oh yeah, here's Dominique Alexander. Also, Sarah reports felon activist Dominique Alexander, which was their first spokesperson, refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance at the Dallas City Council meeting this morning. He then proceeded to repeat the usual buzzwords, hate and bigotry, and protest DEI-related budget cuts. Little did he know his background. Mugshots had been distributed to all the members beforehand.
America.
That's funny.
Could be an inch
Let's
closer
listen
to freedom. And I say today, I will not allow their sacrifice to go in vain. Because while most people are showing their true colors in this moment, while the Trump administration in Washington embraces division, hatred, and bigotry, here in Dallas, some would dare to follow suit. Some would dare strip away the critical progress, dismantle oversight, cut programs that serve vulnerable, and call it fiscal responsibility. Let me be clear. I refuse to allow the city of Dallas to fall to tyranny. I refuse to allow my ancestors to be dishonored on my watch. When I come after most vulnerable communities, you are coming after us all. When you try to cut programs that welcome immigrants, that provide affordable housing, that bring oversight and accountability into policing, you are not just cutting a line in a budget, you are cutting the heart.
This is off topic, but we're going to watch.
And yet at the same time, we are told that there is money for policing, always pumping into budget that never face true audits, never face accountability that taxpayers demanded. I am not here to talk about officer salary, pension, healthcare. I am talking about the unchecked access and mismanagement of the police system that collapse again and again. And still, leaders give more and no questions. We see it. We see the foolishness, the hidden agendas, the backdoor deals, the so-called moderates showing true colors, and tell you, we are not falling for any of it. The people of Dallas is awake. We are alert. We are mobilized. The Next Generation Action Network will not stop. We will not stand silent. We will not sit back while progress is dismantled. We will march. We will organize. We will raise our voices until the echoes of the corners of this city. We will not allow the city of Dallas to yet fall to hate, bigotry, and yet people that do not believe that justice for all. We will not allow this city that I love to fall.
Yeah. ChatGPT probably most likely wrote that for him. Well, I was hoping to find the story about Drew working with oh boy, let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't know why Sarah's putting pictures of her newborn. Oh, here it is. This was on August 30th. In an odd development, Charleston White, who I'm currently suing for defamation, has just hired Drew Anthony, Carmelo Anthony's father, as his personal assistant and publicist. She's like, I have no words for this. I don't either. This is from Charleston White himself, official Charleston White. I just hired Carmelo Anthony's dad as my personal assistant and publicist since he was forced to quit his job due to racist white people calling employment threatening, harassing, intimidating, stalking, and appearing, which we do not approve of at all, harassing. And I already talked about that. I just wanted to make sure that I had seen that. I didn't want it to be like a Kelly Deaver false memory type situation. But yeah, we'll have to go check that out. All right. Well, let's stop talking about that and switch gears real quick. I just wanted to show this news story from Fox News. This is totally crazy. This is a strike on a drug boat from Venezuela. It's pretty interesting.
Take a look at this video coming in from President Trump. He did say earlier today that the U.S. carried out a strike in the southern Caribbean against a drug-carrying vessel that departed from Venezuela. The president later posting this video that you're seeing on Truth Social, along with a post saying earlier this morning, on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a kinetic strike against positively identified Tren de Aragua narco-terrorists in the Southcom area of response.
We don't need to watch it over and over again, but yeah, that's pretty nuts that I want to hear what they have to say about it. I want to know how they have proof that was.
States take action over the border into Mexico, where there are several cartels that are selling drugs here in the United States, that are bringing drugs into the United States. And additionally, whether or not China is noting this also, because it is Chinese chemicals that are being converted into fentanyl that are being brought into the United States for sale by the cartels. So they should be looking at this and wondering whether or not the next missile will be fired at them.
Good advice there. Ken Gray, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. We appreciate it as always.
Anytime, Josh.
And you are taking a live look at the White House at this hour. You can see the flag flying there in front of the White House. Now, we did hear from Secretary of State Marco Rubio a bit earlier on this afternoon as he was over in Florida. He spoke very briefly about this topic as well as other topics. They're only about 4 minutes in length, but I do want to play that for you here on Live Now from Fox.
All these guys are so vain.
Yeah, were you at Southcom today?
Yeah, not today. I was there Friday. I was. I had the Polish government foreign ministry did the Lech Walesa award today to a Cuban dissident. So obviously she's not here. So I attended that this morning.
Any
additional details to share about the Venezuela strike now? Well, the president made the announcement and said it was a lethal strike. I think the Pentagon will have more details and other things to offer you here in the next few hours, hopefully.
So what kind of vessel it was?
Yeah, vessel. The drug vessel was carrying drugs.
Size?
I'll refer you to the Pentagon. They'll give you more details on that when in the next. I anticipate shortly, probably while we're in the air.
How many deaths with the lethal force?
Again, look, I'm trying to be evasive. I'll let the Pentagon answer that. Suffice it to say that the president is going to be on offense against drug cartels and drug trafficking in the United States. It destabilizes not just the country, but the entire Caribbean basin. These particular drugs were probably headed to Trinidad or some other country in the Caribbean, at which point they just contribute to the instability these countries are facing. So the president's been very clear that he's going to use the full power of America and the full might of the United States to take on and eradicate these drug cartels, no matter where they're operating from and no matter how long they've been able to act with impunity. Those days are over.
The vessels are still in the region. Do you plan those operations to continue? Do you expect those operations to continue?
I think as long as those vessels are in the region and as long as the president's in the White House, he's made very clear he's not going to allow the United States to continue to be flooded with cocaine and fentanyl and other drugs coming from different places. This one from Venezuela, which is a common route. That, by the way, some of it ends up in Europe. A lot of it ends up in Puerto Rico and then on into the United States mainland. So no one should be surprised. That's why they're there on a counter-drug mission, and they're going to continue to operate. As far as specifics and future operations, I have to refer you to the Pentagon on that. This is a DOD operation.
You said that it was operated by a cartel. Can you share which cartel was operating the vessel?
Again, I'll let the operators discuss all of that, but I thought it was, the president was very clear, and that is we destroyed a drug boat that left Venezuela, operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization, which is what these are. And he's been clear that the days of acting with impunity and having an engine shot down or a couple drugs grabbed off a boat, those days are over. Now we are going to wage combat against drug cartels that are flooding American streets and killing Americans.
Will you take up? So yeah, my first instinct is to be against this, and I'm gonna tell you why. And you guys know that, like, I am all about the war on drugs, and especially as a late blooming drug addict who became a drug addict just before he turned 30. I'm all about the war on drugs. But having said that, there is due process, and I do feel like even like foreign nationals get a certain amount of due process when they get into our country, because it's a slippery slope if we just start blowing up vessels that we think that there's drugs in, right? I could be out on a sailboat. I've shown you guys pictures of me sailing and my old sailboat, and there's, what if they found out? Well, okay, say I'm out on a sailboat and they find out that it's me on the boat, like me today, right? What are they going to see on paper? They're going to see ex-drug trafficker, this, that, and I get it. This is probably most likely a righteous hit. I don't want to say for sure because I don't know, but they're telling us it is. But they tell us lots of things, right? So I don't know if I'm totally down with what happened. I just truly hope and pray that they knew for sure, that they had boots on the ground, that seen the drugs getting loaded onto the boat and the boat take off, But what if one of those drug traffickers decide to bring his kids along for the ride? Yeah, that's on him for doing that, but we don't get to kill kids. We just don't. And I'm not saying that's what happened or could have happened or did happen. I'm just saying it just freaks me out when we don't have humans dealing with humans, when we have drone strikes dealing with humans, or do you know what I mean? And then this isn't me being soft or weak on the war on drugs or any of it. And you guys know that. I hope you know that. This is just me freaking out for a second, and not like a real freak out, but just like, I haven't even had time to really think about it. Like, there's all kinds of scenarios that this could be bad, but I just hope that it was a righteous hit, and that I'm inevitably glad that these drugs aren't hitting anywhere where people are going to be harmed. But if they didn't have people to sell it to, if we could fight the war on drugs on this end as much as we do on that end, like with treatment centers and more education in the elementary schools, meaning like, instead of like, just say no, when you get to high school or junior high rather, how about like never once, don't even try it one time. Some kind of campaign that says that scares the shit out of these kids, so that there isn't this next generation of buyers. If there's no buyers, there's no sellers. I always said this, because the cartels are always going to be there. If we make sharp cheddar cheese illegal today, I assure you the cartel is going to start trafficking sharp cheddar cheese into the United States. So if there's no demand, there's no seller. And I just think it needs to be the war on drugs needs to be equal parts on both sides to really be effective. And I know my ex-host agrees with me on that, even though, whatever our differences are, we definitely agree on that. 1,000,000%. So I don't know. What's going on in the chat? Well, I'm going to go to the chat, guys, before I end the show. I know I said I was going to do it at the beginning and at the end, but James Collins Care says, Sam, that's a sweet hoodie, bro. And it's short sleeve, and it's thin, so it's kind of like a summer hoodie. Yeah, I love this thing. Although it makes my shoulders look really small in this in this camera angle. Also, guys, I don't know if you've seen my community post, but I did post that. And you guys can post on the community post too now. I think you can only do it from your phone though. So feel free to post stuff. But I did start a well, maybe I'll just share it instead. I did start a Facebook page. I've never had one. So I started it last night. This is a place for us to share stuff as a community. We can share artwork. Once we get it going, I am going to make it private. I just want to get some admins in there first, and then we'll make it private to where you have to answer a few questions. But I only wanted people that participate in our community here on the channel. I don't want it to be just, anybody. Cause I want people who watch the shows, because I want the discussions to be, what we talk about in here. And if we talk about personal stuff in here that, we just don't want all of Facebook to know, then I just want it to, so it'll always be safe that it's our community in this group. But for right now, it's public. Because I don't know how that works, but I know we can make it private and to where people can just come in and apply to be a part of the group, or ask to be a part of the group, and then we'll have some trick question or something that they need to know the answer to that they can only get here on the Morning Mayhem show, so they can be a part of the group. But yeah, so if you go to the community posts, I did put a link to the page, and you guys are more than welcome to participate in the Facebook group page. I don't know a lot about Facebook groups, so if there's anyone else out there that really knows Facebook groups and wants to be the admin for it, yeah, you're more than welcome to. I do know Lynn Arundel from Australia. This was really her idea many moons ago, and I'm just now getting around to it. So she might want to be the main admin for it if she's got time. I know she's super busy. So I just need to talk to her first before I made a decision about making anyone else like the main admin for the group. But anyways, I just thought that was pretty cool that we're going to be doing that. Yeah. Who is Casper? Yeah. He's this lunatic on YouTube. But yeah, if you guys have anything you want to talk about real quick, I mean, it doesn't have to be quick, but I like my stomach doesn't feel good right now. So I don't know how much longer I can stay on. But yeah, if there's anything you guys want to talk about, that would be awesome. I want to thank the couple of new people that participated in the chat today, man. I really appreciate your input. It really helped me today and talking about the Justice for Austin Metcalf case. That's also known as the Carmelo Anthony case. So I appreciate your input. It's not disco, Ben. Ben, I almost bought yesterday this. It was at Hobby Lobby. It was like a disco ball thing, and I was gonna buy it just to have to mess with you at, but I just couldn't waste the money on it. So I don't know. Well, thank you, KP and AZ, for becoming a member today. I really appreciate it. Or maybe you've been a member, you just upgraded to Detective of Disorder. I can't remember the order they are, but yeah, thank you so much for becoming a member. And it's good to see you this morning. I didn't see you, Thompson. I didn't say good morning to you either, Thompson. Good to see you. And Carnisol, good morning to you. Good to see you. Man, disco is the best. Look at those emojis dance. Yeah, I know you're not judging. I I just love disco, man. I don't listen to it hardly ever, but when I do, I like, now this is my jam. For real. Yeah. And I do have a disco Morning Mayhem song too. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. I really like it. I really like it. Oh, ah. Yeah, great house cleaning music. It's great everything music. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it. Hey, Danette. Good to see you this morning. Sorry, I'm getting ready to shut it down. I got to talk about what I wanted to talk about. Look, doesn't look like there's any emergencies or anything, but if there's anything, go ahead and shoot me an email. That's at insidethemindx@gmail.com. Also my true crime channel is gonna start putting out content, and I finally did land on a good name for it. I'm gonna go to it so you guys can see it. Let me just I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. It's called Raw Truth Investigations. That's going to be, I mean, I do true crime on here, but I wanted a dedicated channel for the true crime stuff. And basically it's just going to be, like I said, like 2 or 3 stories in one video, but they're going to relate to each other. And so, yeah, so those will be fun. And I'll let you guys know when you can go over there and subscribe. I mean, you can wait till I put some content to subscribe. I don't want you guys subscribing to anything that, just on blind loyalty. Wait till I start putting up content. I mean, if you want to go subscribe, well, I guess we did have you subscribe to the After the Bars channel before we put out anything, but that's the name of the new channel. Get over there and subscribe. Screw it. And there'll be some content starting to go up here in the next couple of days. They're going to be super fun. I'm going to get to show off my video editing prowess. So that'll be pretty badass. Yeah. I guess that's all I got to say about that. I guess I'll make a community post too about the new channel, but it's going to be a ton of fun. It really is. So that's Raw Truth Investigations. I guess I could put a link in the chat. Oh, they might unsub you because there's no content on there. Yeah, well then just wait. If that's the case, yeah, just wait if that's the case. So disregard my leak, or yeah, you could check back. Yeah, however you guys want to do it. But once it gets rolling, it's gonna be pretty awesome. Do I think Grandma Gotti will testify? I don't know yet. I just don't know yet. But that is my plan today, is to deep dive all of that, because I just don't know enough about it to talk on it. But yeah, I am deep diving all of that today, as I said I was going to. Okay, kids. Well, oh yeah, link for Facebook. Okay, yep, I'll do that right now. Copy. I'll put it in the comment section too of the video. I'll put both of those in the comment section and in the description as soon as I get done. So yeah, well, I guess that's the show, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. I will see everybody tomorrow. If I don't see you before then, you make sure that you are kind to each other and kind to yourselves. Show yourself some grace. And if you see anyone with their head down, see if you can get them to lift their chin up a little bit, because it always feels good to have your chin up a little bit, even if you got to fake it till you make it. I know I've done it a million times. And be grateful. Be grateful. I know I kind of phoned in the ending today. I don't know why. I feel like I have some acid reflux or something. What a way to end the show. All right, guys. Mahalo.
Today's a gift we all can feel. The wounds are raw, but time will heal. Be thankful now for where you stand, and hold the world in grateful hands. After the bars, we're rising strong, facing the world where we belong. Recovery burns a steady flame. Grateful hearts call out your name. A brother